Hello everybody, hope you're well, and a very special hello to a little lad called Sam Bayliss. Hello Sam, hope you're alright mate. Your dad's been on and asked me to say hello to you. So I'm saying hello to you. He also says that you're a Wolves fan. Don't worry mate, you might grow out of it, alright? All is not lost. Keep the faith man, keep the faith. We will be revealing the winner of that silly little competition we had in the previous video of this channel, not this series, regarding how much I got for all that scrap metal that I showed you all. I got about a couple of hundred entries, which is ace. So the winner will be, of course, it's going to be at the end of the video. I mean, come on, it's a price you pay for us not putting any adverts in the middle. All right, what can I tell you? So what we're going to do first, well, we need to keep in front of Matt. He wants to plough forward with his plastering trowel, and I'm all for that. So we've got to get some vents from the utility across the kitchen ceiling and outside. Once that's done, the kitchen ceiling can be finished getting boarded, and then we can just let him loose in that room. And once that plaster's gone off, we can then get some paint on the walls, which is going to transform this place, I'm sure. So looking forward to that. Right, let's play forward. Got a bit of ducting to do. We need extractor fans installing, or the ducting for it, to our utility and to our downstairs loo down there. It's regs, so we need them, so they've got to go in, and you'd want to put them in anyway. So what I've done, I've core drilled through, as you can see, and I've just put a piece of saw pipe straight the way through to bridge this gap here, and that terminates there. Now this is where the fun starts, because what we need to do, or what I want to do, is have the fan exactly where that is, and that's for the utility, and that's the cable for it there. Sorry, that one coming down there, that's the cable for it. So one fan there, and then I want to link it to the one in the toilet, which is down here. I don't want to put two in. I don't want two vents and all loads of more ducts and all that sort of stuff. And I think it's a bit unnecessary for this room here, because that's just a convenience toilet really anyway. But it's got to go in, so here we go. So I've got to get from that point to that point, negotiating this 90 degrees here. So how do you do that? Well, what I normally do is have a bit of a mental picture, or at least jot it down, of what our route is, what our problem is. Excuse me. And then I'll go to the shop and I have a look at what they sell, because that's what you're governed by. You can't just make stuff up. You've got to use what they sell to do it. And Manrose do a load of these couplings and fixings and angles, and from square to circle stuff, all that sort of stuff. So if you go to Selco, do a good selection. There's a big wall of them, and you can see what they sell, and then sort of piece your problem out from there. And this is my solution. That pipe there represents our pipe up there. So it's going that way, and the ceiling is here, and that's the floor. Into that then, that thing up there, I'm going to put this, which is just a bog standard 100mm T, and then the bottom of that is going to be our fan, which we'll go into that in a second. And then moving on this way towards the next door neighbour, I'm going to put this valve in, which I'm going to talk about in a second, and then move on to reduce it from basically a circle to a rectangle. And from that point on, it's going to be flat ducting, which I've got a couple of lengths of, one of which is there. So flat ducting goes into there. Now we've got to turn the corner. And for that, fairly standard stuff, 90 degrees. That will go into the toilet, which visually is that way. And then from that, wherever we want our fan, we're going to go flat to circle, which is going to go down like that. So if you can imagine, that's in the ceiling now. And then from that point down is going to be our fan. And that's basically it, all fairly straightforward, with a couple of points. Right then, when this fan's on, that fan can be independent to the toilet one. And I don't want any air going up here and back into the house going that way, because I want to make this fan as efficient as possible. So I'll put this valve here, which, as you can see, all quite simple. As long as you face it the right way, which I'll put those arrows on, that's the direction of air, so I don't put it in wrong, which is very easily done. From this point here, Well, past this point is the toilet. So when that's on, that can blow past those vents open, and then the air is free to travel all the way to the outside. But when this fan isn't on, and I want the utility on, that will shut, that thing gets closed, it can't go that way. So when the air goes up, it hits a full stop here and then gets drawn out that way, like so. That's the plan. That's what they sell, that's what they're for. So that's what I'm going to do. Well, that's what I'm going to use it for anyway. Now, how do I connect the fan to this? Well, there's a couple of ways. If you've got any play in this at all, a bit of wiggle room in your loft, in your ceiling space, you can just get a little rigid bit of pipe, cut it, shove it all up there, plasterboard underneath, obviously mark where it is. Then when it's all done, it's all painted, you cut a hole, that then falls out, and then you fit your fan to the rigid bit and away you go. If, however, you haven't got the wiggle room, which I don't think we will here, you can get something like this, and that just tapes on, goes around there, tapes on, or Jubilee clips on. That concertina's up into ceiling space. Same sort of thing. You cut it again, and you can pull that out, attach it to your fan, and up it goes. And that is basically it. Of course, you can just leave it rigid out the ceiling space and try and plaster around it if it doesn't have to be very neat, but that's completely up to you, however you want to do it. Now, efficiency of the fan is dependent on how airtight this is, so regardless of what couplings you get to link it all together, I always gaffer tape around them anyway, again just to get it as airtight as possible. And that is basically it. It's all fairly straightforward once you know what they sell, once you can see it. So I'll get on to that now. I'll get up there. It's a bit dark in here, so I can't really film it. It's a bit tight, so I'll do it, I'll film it after when it's all done, and it'll all become apparent. So there we go, just a bit of a visual representation of what I'm trying to get at. Once this fan is on, the air will go up there and then out to the outside vent, and that is that vent there closed off. Not completely, look, there is a gap there. It's not that, you know, well made a thing really. But then when the fan is on past this point, it'll blow those open like so, both at the same time obviously, and the air will go out. That's the plan. So yeah, just an option in case you're struggling to get two vents in. Not all jobs are going to be like this, where you've taken every ceiling down and all that sort of thing, but if you are struggling, these things do exist, and you know, get the building inspector on board and just okay everything, and that's it. It's only air. That's all it is. It's just air. It's no poisonous gases or anything like that. So mind you, in saying that, my lad's growing up, so there might be some poisonous gases in there, but you know what I mean. And there we have it. All very simple and not very pretty, but see, it's a little bit, it's quite a bit wonky there, isn't it? But the offcut of that, which is that one, just worked almost too perfectly to warrant opening another one. So I can take those back, and for what it is, it's just air. It's all taped. It's as airtight as I can get it, and that is that really. As you can see there, I've got that little concertina stuff down there. Just cut it off, taped it all on, ready just to be boarded over, and then found at a later date with the cable for it stuffed in, and the same in here. So I mean, you can look at this and you could go, oh man, how am I going to get from there to there via that? But then when you go to the actual shop and look at what they sell, it's all extremely simple. Yeah, and that's basically it. And it's another great shout out to these joists, because if it wasn't for these joists, you can't cut into them, cut through them and put this stuff through. So it would have all had to have been surface mounted and boxed in, but not here. So there we go. Right, I'll insulate that. Then I'm going to get this one up. We'll do that in a bit. We're going to do some work in the bathroom first and get out of Matt's way. And here we are again in a dark and dingy utility. Directly below, quite obviously, the shower tray there. That's the waste for it. Right then, so what we've got to do, we're going to get that waste in, and it's going to be plugged into our waste, which is going to be here, this soil pipe here, which is also going to act as our vent. This is going to do a 90-degree through the ceiling space there and out to the soil pipe outside, and that vents this entire system that we've got here. We've got a toilet here, as you know, goes into the bathroom upstairs. So that goes down there and away that way. Everything is connected from the furthest point away, which will be a downstairs toilet there, and it comes down here, and it's all connected there, and it's open-ended here, and that's going to go up, and as I say, vented that way, and then that water is going to go below there. So what I like about that is the fact that being that this is a bit tight around here, which we know it works, but it's always, a consideration. Oh, am I ever going to have problems with it, especially with the kids and ramming loads of paper down it years to come and whatnot, which is why I've got the access point there just in case. But then behind that, in front of that, I should say, will be the shower, and so there'll be water. So if anything does clog around here, or it's a little bit slow getting away, or whatever, we've always got this water behind it just helping it along, so we should be all right. Obviously, as you can see there, that's where our washing machine waste will go into as well, so I can always pop that out, and then we'll have access there as well if there's any issues. So we're sort of future proof, we're okay. Right, let's get that done. I can't really film it again, apologies for that, it's all a bit tight in here and it's all a bit bitty, but we'll do it. I'll show it you, and then we'll see what you think. Well, I mean, enthralling stuff, innit? What more do you want? All very obvious. Up it goes, out to the vent, I'll show you in a second, and it branches off to our shower waste that's all in there. Put a little bit of silicone where it meets the tray, so I'm letting that go off overnight, and then we'll get some water down it. And we'll see how we get on. Now what I'm going to do, in preparation for Matt, because he's going to be a happy boy, because I'm just about to phone him and tell him that Mitch has been, fair play to Mitch, and put our radiator pipe in the floor, which means now this can all be plasterboarded. Now we've done our vent, and he can crack on with this ceiling tomorrow, which he's going to absolutely love. We're going to say it's out, re-insulated it, and I've got to leave this out because, just something to mention, this flue here has got two joins in it in this stretch. It's got one, where am I? It's got one there, where am I? There, and it's got one just there. Now, for regs, they need to be visually inspected every at every service. So if you want it serviced, the gas engineer needs to be able to see them. So unfortunately, that means that I'm going to have to put some inspection chambers there and there in the kitchen area for him to be lifted so that he can do his thing when it comes to it. And that's just the way it is. There's not a fat lot more I can do about that. Now, on the plus side, it means that I'll always have access to this weak area, shall we say. You're only as strong as your weakest link, so we'll always have access to that, and then that one's just going to have to be the way it is. Now there's going to be a light in the middle, so it'll look fairly even once it's done. I'm not that fussed about it because it is what it is. It needs to be done, there's no way around it. Yeah, so there we go. And just to show you that now, very roughly goes into the wall there. That's up from that point down here, that's now done. That's just gone up there catching the rainwater for now, with a little bit of a spacer just to kick it out to it. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? It's beautiful. Adapt and overcome. Right then, I'm going to get that done and I'm going to go home. How's that? Well, I've been home and I've come back and look what Matt's done. We are plastered fully in this kitchen and dining room, and that's as far as we've got downstairs. But we are flying and we are ready, as you can see from how we've masked up the windows. We're ready to get the spray painter out, which we're going to do now. So we'll go upstairs, we'll talk a little bit about that, and then we'll finally get something done. Well, as you can see, We are fully masked. This took about half a day to do, to be fair, with moving all the stuff. Everything needs to be in the middle or out the way. As when you're doing a project like this, everything's getting painted, so there's no wall it can go up against. So you've got to pack it away off site, which can be a nightmare in its own right, or you try and get it as much in the middle as possible, which is what we've done there. Everything's all masked up, as I've said. Everything's moved away from the walls best as we can, ready to use this beast. Always good when this gets out of the box because it means that we're getting somewhere. I've done a big video on this, so I'm not going to go into too much detail now. If it is something that you're looking to use or buy or anything like that, by all means watch this video. It's, as the title suggests, a complete guide into spray painting a room, and also it's a detailed description of everything you need to know regarding this particular machine, which is that Wagner Control Pro. From setup, from cleaning it out, how to use it, troubleshooting, everything. There you go. In terms of health and safety, you're spraying paint into the atmosphere. You need breathing protection. That's an absolute must. It's quite a little noisy machine, so I'm going to have my ears on as I'm doing it. And also, as you can imagine, paint in the atmosphere, eye protection. However, it's going to get on your goggles, and before long you won't be able to see anything. You smear it off, or clean it off, it just smears across the front of it. So I won't be using eye protection with it because it's a bit of a nightmare. But this is a classic do as I say, don't do as I do moment. And if you are using this, I strongly recommend that you do use them. But there you go. Rich is back off his holidays. You right there, Rich?
Yes, I'm fine, thank you.
There you go. There you go. It's all that nice warm weather. It's obviously helped your voice a little bit, hasn't it?
I don't know, has it? I'll wait until the video show.
No, it's come back again. I didn't last long, did it? Oh my word. You can tell he's back in Blighty. The only thing that is new to me regarding this spray painting is I am using, because of the height of the ceilings, I've got this extension for it which came with the kit, with another kit that the first paint spray that I bought, not this this Wagner Control Pro. That does not come with it, but obviously it's an optional extra. The only issue with using this is that once you let go, obviously you're spraying paint now, you pull the trigger, spray paint comes out. As soon as you let go, the paint obviously stops at the end of the gun. Now what happens is, as it's still travelling through the shaft, should we use that word?
Good word.
Good word. As it's travelling through the shaft, it slows down, and by the time it gets to the end, it just spits out, it doesn't spray out. So if you forget about that as you're up the wall and you let go, you're going to blob it onto the wall, which is obviously a bit of a nightmare. So always have a brush with you, just in case you've got to brush it out. But obviously the trick is you let go of the trigger once you're off the wall, once you're pointing to the floor or a part of the wall that you know you're not really going to paint in. In bedrooms, that's difficult. Kitchens, a lot more easy to do. But rule of thumb, keep it on the floor, or wait on the floor and let go, not on the wall. And there we go. And then with that extension, I should be able to reach, that's the highest point up there. We should be all right. Richie's going to be a bit of hose management for me and topping up the paint as we go, because we're going to use a lot of it. Right, enough talking.
Mainly because of this, you said, didn't you?
There is that, look. You see that? That's kinking there a little bit. Obviously from using it and whatnot. You can get, I think it's called the whip, which is basically a sprung 300mm attachment to it. So you can move all that about and it doesn't kink the hose. But spray painting really isn't that readily available, so to speak, or shops and information about it in this country. It's a big American thing, and there's a great YouTube video called, channel I should say, the Idaho Painter, and he sells all this stuff, so I might see if I can ship it over, but it's a cost, isn't it? But we'll see. I'll have a bit of a peruse of the internet and see what we can get over here. Tips and everything, that's fine. But in terms of these little niceties, not too sure. But I'll have a look. Right then, enough talking. Let's get some music on and transform this house.
Can I just say something?
Oh, of course you can.
I think your videos, of course I'm saying it because it's the channel. But I think you did your bit for the country, bringing this into the country house, I think.
That's it, yeah.
You're the whole painter of the Blighty, aren't you?
The pioneer.
I think you are. I think you
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
I was just saying.
Well, there you go. No pressure then, best not cock it up, eh? Yeah. This better work first time. Right then, let's get going. Well, there we have it. All walls, miscoated. I'll show you upstairs in a second, but that took about 2.5 hours, Rich?
Yeah.
2.5 hours.
Maybe 2 3/4, including mixing the 2 tubs of paint.
Yes, so we've got to stop every now and again, mix the paint up and get it all mixed in. We've only had to move the sprayer once where it was in the middle bedroom. That the 10-metre hose was reached, so that was ace. That saved a lot of time. And just moved it down here then, and then where it is now, in the living room, more than reached in here. So there we go. So it's just miscoated. I mean, you can see there little bits that are just could do with going over again, but that is it. That's the plaster sealed now. Or as good as. The reason why I've done it now is because we've done it on a previous job where we put the skirting on, pre-painting, put the skirting all on, corked it all, then painted it, and then somebody said in the comments, no, when you've got to cork onto a primed surface, else it'll just shrink and it'll crack. And lo and behold, they were right. So fair play. I forget what that was now, put that in, but thank you very much for that. But so what we've done now then, we've got everything a miscoat, and so then the skirting can go on and be corked, ready to be sprayed again at a later date. What we're going to do now is go around and find all the spotlights and cut those out. And I want it noted that Rich marked all these. Now my two, I marked these here because as you've seen later on in the episode, that was the only bit yet to be done, so I've done them. All the rest are Richard's. There's 4 in each reception room. Well, that one isn't plastered yet. There's 4 to find in the dining room. There's a few to find in here, I'm not too sure, and then there's upstairs on the landing ceiling. So we've made a plan, or Richard's made a plan. We're going to trust the plan, and we're going to try and find them.
Confident. 100%.
Beautiful. Right, I'll get the laser out.
Now turn the camera off and I'll tell you the truth.
That's it, yeah. We've got some filler, haven't we? Yeah, right, let's go for it.
Hole number 1, working to my... No, these first 2 are your plan.
These 2 are mine.
Okay.
Right. It's a main issue, it's dusting.
It's great, but you can't see along, can you?
Can't see where you are.
Well, that's not the sort of look you like.
I have a cable. Boom.
1.
One down. Right.
Can you come over?
Please.
Hold on to your socks.
There we go.
Without touching the newly painted walls.
Thing is, we'll show this again. We always show this every time we do this, but little spring-loaded core drill, or hole saw, whatever you want to call it, and just pop straight out.
What's your treat?
It's all right.
It's a good start. You haven't hit the boiler flue. It's always a good start.
I have a cable.
Now,
Boom.
can I just put a technicality in there?
Go on.
Did I say these two are yours?
Yeah.
Can we actually say these are mine? You think? Or?
Yeah, two.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Oh no, I didn't leave with him. Okay, moving on. Now, if this one's here, we're good for the rest. We can't not be.
Well,
Is that right?
I know 100% that they're in the cables in line. I know it is. And we know that it's not on the top of a rafter. Joy, Stephen, because just measured it.
Ha! Boom.
Oh, the cable's only right in down the centre of the hole.
We have a cable. That works. Right, moving on. And we're moving on. Look at this one. Look at this one out. Oh yeah.
You can't see that, can you? Okay.
You can see that there, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh. Should be able to do two at the same time, I've got now. Bit too far.
I'm going to be away from it. Just turn around.
Well, you could do that if you want. If you
I could do.
make it difficult for yourself, you could sail you over. Now, I know you've got to go 100 mil towards me now. Just remember, I've set these at 7 in case you wanted to have them over your work, not over your worktop.
Yes, okay.
So you've got to come at least 100 mil to your left.
It's there. Give me your fingers for that one.
There's no point phone home because there's no one here, other than you and me. And certainly no telephone line.
Yeah.
Hang on, you might have to jump down now, Max. I've got to go over this temporary water stop pipe.
Well, there's no way that one ain't going to be there, is it?
100%.
So we'll leave it there. We'll get the rest out. And then we'll have a good old, aren't we great? Aren't we good at measuring stuff?
And I'll survive another working day. Excellent.
Yeah.
I'll get to come back tomorrow, maybe.
Yeah.
If it all work.
Yeah. Leave it filler in the van. Top tip time for you. Look how well that paint has gone on to those corner beads there, or angle beads, whatever you want to call them. Again, that is just one coat. This one over here as well. One coat of watered down, heavily watered down emulsion. So that's what it would have looked like, as you may or may not know, straight onto there. And then you get this, the very, very corner of it, just there. That was all, once that gets plastered, that corner is always visible. And this is just white emulsion, water-based paint on metal. It's never supposed to stick. So what can happen is you have to build up the layers in order to, so you can't see that through the paint. And so if you do a brush or a roller, you can sort of see where it's built up on the corners, and they can get quite ugly. So what I've done to combat that, also actually, I found with other plasterers, not with matte, but with other plasterers, you can see the corner bead through the plaster, and when it dries out, you can visibly see every little nook and cranny of that through the plaster, and you paint on it, and it sort of comes through, at least for the first couple of coats. So what I've done to combat that is I've stain blocked, and I always do, every single corner bead around the house, and that is the result. And as I say, one coat of heavily watered down emulsion. That's only going to get better and better. So that's a top tip for you. Not saying I needed to do it with Matt as the plasterer, but with other plasterers I've had that issue. The paint's always gone on in the end, but not first time like this. So yeah, stain block the corners first, only lightly. You could barely see it when it was on, but it was on. And then you get that beautiful finish first time. Right, let's move on. Well, it is the end of the following day, and as you can see, holes have been drilled, wires have been found, which was a good thing. And that was the end of that day. And then today happened, which leads us very nicely onto our new segments that we're going to call things you'd wish you'd measured before you installed, plastered and painted. That's the issue there. Only today, after we've done all that, we actually get the tape out and measure that these door frames that we fitted, the fire door linings, were supposed to be cut down in length, in height I should say, to accommodate whatever size door you want. I just got them out of the packet, built them, installed them. I've got a memory of buying these frames from the same place as I got these ones from, making them, installing them, and they all fitted. The door, I mean, now that there is a 6'9". You can't get a 6'9" door unless you have one not specially made, I suppose, out of driftwood or something, but it's never going to happen. So that was a bit of an issue I've had to sort out. Now, thankfully, the place that we got them from, Bell Builders, came to the rescue, and they had the heads of the doors knocking around, quote unquote. So they gave them to us free of charge, and we've installed them at the height that we want. And then I'm going to make the top up with a bit of cut down skirting to architrave down the sides as you normally would, and then the top a bit thicker cut down skirting just to hide what will be the gap there. And that's on all the 5 doors that we've installed up to now. It's a mistake, isn't it? We're not fallible from them. So yeah, beauty of it being my house is that I can make these decisions and go, yeah, right, we'll do that. Some customers out there think that under no circumstances can you make these kind of mistakes in their house, and it all sort of gets all a bit tense, but it's all right, we'll get through it. Another thing that I'd wish that I checked or were different was the fact that Sodal or Sodal, whatever, that brand there, changed their packaging from their cork, which is, what's that? That is like a burgundy black and white tube. I wish that they did their silicone different. So when they're side by side, you don't pick one up, wanting cork, pick up the silicone and start going around all the skirting with it, which is what I've done. It's been a mixed day. Some good things have happened today, but I knew it was all going to go a bit mammaries when I went to McDonald's this morning to get the coffees, ordered 3 black, 1 white, got them back here, and there were 3 white, 1 black, and Richard already had the black one, so I didn't have the coffee either. So there we go. These days you can put down to experience, can't you? As long as you learn from them, play forward. Tomorrow is another day, a different one, and I'm sure it'll be better. But some good things have happened today, one of which I'll show you now. Well, if you use your imagination and get rid of all the bit of a tool dump there, you will notice that we have a room miscoated, obviously, and fully skirted and caulked and filled and lovely. Absolutely beautiful. Got a little bit of silicone on that leg there, but it's off now, it's off. I've sorted this, don't worry. Going back to this ever so slightly, Rich says that I could make it into a bit of a feature. We could have the top one chamfered out a little bit. I could even get a completely different skirting and make a feature of it. It's not quite to my taste, to be honest with you, but I mean, the option is there. But we had a piece straight up, a straight piece I should say, offered up to it. Going to cut it down so it just goes over that join there. It's going to look nice. It's going to be fine. In fact, I think I'm going to prefer it, to be honest. But when you encounter things like this, don't be disheartened by it, because you can just focus on it and think that it's all we're going to be looking at for the next 25 years. You won't, trust me. When you're living here and the kids are here and it's all furnished and blah, 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 that is just going to melt away to the back of your mind, if it's in your mind at all. So, don't worry, that's going to be ace, which you will see once I've done it. This made this store lining up. And if you look at this footage here, it's twisted, sister. Look at that, man. It's like a Twizzler. It's been lying flat, but all the moisture in this house past couple of months with the concrete, the screed, the plaster, whatever. It's all water, isn't it? It's all in the atmosphere, so it's just took it on and just gone for it. But hopefully, for this clamped and weighted down, it'll return to somewhere near its natural state, and it'll be okay for tomorrow. Which, well, either way, we'll get it. We'll sort it. All sorted. Speaking of tomorrow, I'm going to go home and wait for it via the off licence, obviously. That's a given. These days, they're here to test us, aren't they? Just learn from them and just play forward, and it'll all be in your rear view mirror without a care in the world pretty soon. Right then, so onwards, upwards, tomorrow, happiness and delight. And this is the end of that following day, and a better day it has been. You've already seen this room, skirted, all filled, but the window board is now on, again, all filled and caulked, ready. Through here, I'll show you in the bathroom at the end of the episode. This room's all done, where it can be. Still waiting for this door frame to arrive, so we haven't been able to do the walls going up to it. However, the rest of the room is done and the window boards are on. As is, or as are, the window boards, architrave and skirting in here, which is very, very nice. I've even had time to get that little bad boy out, a little sprayer, and give the ensuite a coat of bathroom paint, because like the rest of the house, the first base coat, or mist coat I should say, was just watered down emulsion. But I'll give it a coat of this stuff. Where are we? Deluxe Easy Care bathroom, soft sheen, blah blah blah. A bit more hardware in paint for that kind of room, as it should be. And so I'll let that go off now overnight, let it dry out, and then tomorrow I'll give it another go, and that will be that then, ready for installation, which is a good job, because look what's arrived. The ensuite stuff, what can I tell you? All that is a shower screen toilet and a sink. It's amazing, isn't it? Right, and so we've got to unwrap that now, make sure everything's all right. Get that upstairs, ready for installation, because once that's in, it frees up this ceiling. The only reason why we've left this is because I need to put the shower tray in, which will tell us where the waste is, and then the waste can come down into this roof space, out the house into the soil pipe, as well as the toilet, although that's above floor level, but the sink as well. That's right, yeah, the hand basin, which is about, was it there or there, one of the two, and get that in, which means then we can plumb all that, get all that sorted, get it tested, and then get this ceiling boarded, which then allows the room to be skimmed, and then allows us to finish the fireplace off. It just opens up a whole new world of jobs to get that done, which is only a good thing. So I'll get all that stuff in now, and then we'll see what we're going to do next. And what I am going to do next, I've just decided, is to install this, because it's taken up a bit of room, isn't it? And it's unnecessary really. So let's pull our finger out and get the ensuite sorted. Can't do the shower screens, so they're going to have to just mill about for a bit. I'll tell you why a little bit later. But a majority, if not all that, can be installed. So let's go over there, other side of the house, and have a look at what we've got to do. And here we are, said ensuite, and as white rooms go, it's a lovely one. And a mist coat. I then had 2 coats of the bathroom paint sprayed on with that little sprayer thing that I've got. I've mentioned it a few times, the Wagner, whatever that is. It's beautiful, all very nice. Can't fit the shower tray, beg your pardon, shower screen, because there's a 2 to 3 week wait on the shower panels that we'd like. It's typical, isn't it? But not to worry. No massive rush for it anyway, but more or less everything that we've bought that's in the other room that I just showed you can be installed, and I'm going to do that over the next few minutes. So, well, of the video, it's going to take about a day and a half to do, but here we go. Man with a head start. Shower tray, exactly the same. Well, I say that, a bit smaller, but it's the same make, made of the same material as the one that featured in the main bathroom video for those of you who watched that. So it's going to install it the same way. All I've done, put it on the floor, moved it to exactly where I wanted, and I've drew round the waste, which is that main hole there, obviously oversized, so everything fits through. And then the reason why it looks a bit, well, we won't go into it, is because we need enough room to get the actual shower trap in. And when they're installed, when they're built, I should say, they're a bit long, and they more or less sit due to the nature that obviously the top bit goes on top of the tray, that goes under the tray, which means this bit here is sort of in the floor, in the space of your floorboards, or in this case your OSB. So you have to take out a bit more than what you think that you would do. But we only use, in terms of traps and what they're called, pan connectors, we only use McAlpine now. We've never had to go back to a customer and fit any McAlpine stuff. We have, on to our own detriment, on other makes. So for those of you who fit this kind of stuff or bathrooms regularly, and you think that there's a brand out there that rivals these and are a bit cheaper, because they are more expensive, but they are great, a great brand. It even comes with a little protective cap over it. Look, isn't that cute, eh? There we go. All right, so that's that. Instructions comes with 2 different seals as well, depending on the thickness of your shower tray, which not a lot of ones do. Well, the cheaper ones certainly don't. So it's all thought of, it's all there. Ace. Anyway, moving on. So what we can do now then is bed that on a bit of compo down onto there, and boom, that's out of the way. But before we can do that, we've got to work out where our toilet's going to go and where our waste pipe that's going to go straight through the wall is going to be, so we can drill that out. And also we've got to drill out the hole for the extractor fan, which is where that cable is there, and also the basin waste, which will be at the bottom of the vanity unit, which is going to be there. As you know from downstairs, the ceiling is completely exposed, so in terms of installation, this is going to be extremely simple. It's a very simple one. In fact, it's an installer's dream, this one. There, I've said it. The only time-consuming bit we're going to have is connecting the wastes out of this under the floor and doing all the bends and getting it to exactly where we want, because there's a couple of considerations with that, which I will go through now. Right, shower tray, just dry on the floor, pushed into the corner where it'll eventually live. I've drawn around it so I can, as like a template, so I can build more on later. But for the time being, that's there because we need to take a measurement, I should say, from where the shower tray finishes to the wall and work out where we want our toilet. Now, obviously, aesthetically, you're going to want it in the middle of this gap here. But that may not be possible because the soil pipe is on the other side of this room, other side of this wall. So just imagine that, if I've done my calculations right, it's there. So just imagine that's on the outside, right? Now, I can do whatever I want to this soil pipe in terms of vertical. I can cut it off, I can add whatever I want onto it, not a problem. But I can't and don't want to, so I'm not going to move it from left to right. So horizontally, vertically, I beg your pardon, it is where it is. So what does that mean? Well, in order for our toilet to go on the floor and the waste for it to go out the wall, it has to then bend round into the soil pipe, and I can only use the bends that exist. Sounds silly, but it's not like copper where I can bend this and bend that and add this onto that, blah, blah, blah. I've only got what they sell. So, in turn, that means I've got to make sure that what they do sell can get us out the wall down and into our saw pipe nice and neatly. Which means I need to now get the toilet in place and see where it brings us. So I've got the underlay down, I've got the flooring down, only loose obviously, but that's what I'm going to be using to get our height, get the toilet on, see where it brings us out, and see whether, now you have to imagine that this being on the this is on the outside, but when that toilet goes through the wall, is that double to bring us too far over this way, or do I need to get a single being that there's only one socket on it, which then inserts into that one. It's a male into the female, which will insert down into about there, whenever I need to do that. But looking at it, eyeballing it, I think we're going to be all right. Let's get it in here, let's have a look. Let's see if I can show you what I mean by this. There'll be, once this hole is drilled, there'll be a piece of pipe that goes through the wall. This side of the pipe will be a pan connector, which goes from the toilet to that pipe. That pipe then goes through the wall, turns and goes into here, which remember is outside. Now if I was to use this double socket, and this toilet is in the middle of the room, in the middle of where we want it, that will essentially be in line like that. I don't know if you can see that, but once that's connected, that's down there somewhere overlapping. It's way too long, so that won't do. Now we know that won't do. However, I'm fairly confident that a single or a male one will go into that and make that corner, that turn, a lot further that way, which means this toilet, I'm happy to announce, I now know can go in the middle. I can only drill through this wall once, so I've got to get it right. It's rendered on the outside, it's finished. So I need to, go for all this and make sure I'm doing my first drill is my first hole is my last one, basically. So I'm more than confident then, providing that's in the right place and I've done my measurements right, that can go in the middle of the gap and I can get a male one into there and it will all work out. All this will make sense later. So now I know I've got to go and buy one of them. I'll go and do that now, and then I'll reconvene here with Richard tomorrow, and then we'll crack on. And then instead of talking, you can actually see us do something. Here we go. Right. And there she is. I think that's going to be perfect. Once that branch is in here, we're at 45 up to there, 90 degrees at elbow into there. I think that's going to work out fine, and I think we're going to be all right in relation to how it aesthetically looks next to that chimney. It's not too close to it. So yeah, it's all right, I reckon.
Worked out well, hasn't it?
It has, hasn't it?
It might be like 100mm cut or something between the two fittings, that's all.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we'll get the core drills out, we'll make that hole how it should be, and then we might have a mess around with this. We'll see, we'll see. Well, there's no two ways about it. I've made a bit of a boo-boo. The branch there cut into this saw pipe, I've just put it in, it's only a couple of mil too high, which means now our 45-degree angle from the branch into the wall doesn't work. And it's thrown up a couple of issues, mainly that you can't buy anything other than 90-degree or 45-degree bends in black. I think I found a place where you can send off for them, some specialist place, whatever, but off the shelf, nowhere around here does them anyway. I found a few places now. But 15-degree, it keeps going blurry, 15 degrees from that, from our branch, then into our 90-degree, works perfect, but I only can get that in underground, which is brown. So, as you can see how I've messed up, I'm going to paint it. And that's just the way it is. It's a shame, but you know, these things happen, but there's ways around them, and this is one of them. And I'm having a bit of an Apollo 13 moment, because I'm making this good with what I've got. I'm not going out and buying anything. So I've got some Amrite paint that I had from ages ago. I found that, I dug that out. I had that in my spares, the 15-degree in my spares bag. So going to give that a paint, get all that off, have a look, see how it is. If it doesn't work in the future, if it peels off or whatever, I'll change it when I. But to get it up and running, let's try this. Yeah, come on. That's a get me out of trouble card. That ain't a bad one to play, is it? That's alright, that is. Ah well, you got to make do, haven't you? You got to get over these things. Right, well now that's in, that means that the toilet can be put in place, which means now we're good to go and start putting the floor down. Right, now that the saw pipe's all sorted, that vent's in as well, all done from the outside now. We've bedded that tray on exactly the same way as we did in the last episode. SBR'd the floor, SBR'd the back of the tray, compoed it down, so that's all good. And then I'm going to leave Rich just to put this flooring down, which is a, what is it? It's a quick step laminate. Impressive. No recommendation like self-praise, is there?
Designed? Designed for bathrooms.
There you go.
It's designed for this.
Yes, Hydroseal or something.
Hydroseal, yes.
The sticker on it somewhere, something like that. So I need 2 packs. Yeah, so I'm going to leave Richard to do here. Obviously, there's not enough room to give him any hand in here. And I'm going to go and get some materials, and then we'll start fitting some fixtures and stuff. Well, thanks to Rich, this day wasn't a complete disaster, because he's got this flooring down, which looks lovely. It's getting a bit dark now, so you might not be able to see that as well. He's got the skirting round, he's got the architrave round, this side of the door, this side's obviously already done. We've got all this sorted, it's all just dry fitted. But we've got all our, everything's just ready to go, ready to be connected. Now I've marked out where this is on the floor, so now we can get that waste drilled out straight through where we want it, down there, and then get them through the floor and out the house. Didn't manage to get that done today because of my boo-boo with that. But if you do as I say, but don't do as I do, you're going to go far wrong, really. What can I tell you? So there we go. So now I can just put all that on a shower tray, and then I can fill that and paint it, and maybe do the shower tray and all that sort of stuff. It should be lovely. Just little jobs I can just fall back in here and crack on with if it all goes a bit quiet elsewhere, if we're waiting for stuff. When the shower panels come, we'll fit it all, fit the shower, and we'll do that in one episode all by itself, I think, show those shower panels, because they're very, very nice when they come. And if you're wondering, how on earth am I going to use this bathroom with that window the way it is? Yeah. Just did that, didn't you? You just did that one all. Like that. Alright, isn't they? Blinds are in the glass. Very nice. We thought that an opaque window might look a bit odd from the outside there, so by doing that, it eliminates the problem. And I've also got them in my lad's bedroom as well. So windows are a bit big and a bit high and whatnot. There we go. I think that's worth the extra money. I think about 200 quid is it or something. I don't know. But there we go. Right then, I'm going to have a tidy up. I'm going to tidy my tools away because they're absolutely everywhere. And then I think we'll call it a day. Oh, and we'll announce the winner. Right, I just thought I'll show you the painting from up here. I haven't really done it in that much detail, really. And also, the solution to our whoopsie earlier. And I think that looks really, really quite nice. I do. I'm really happy with that. I think I'm going to put that down to, where is it? The old serendipity, is it? The happy accident? I think they look lovely. Really nice once that's painted up. Beautiful. Well, there we go. That's not too bad at all, is it? Hey? Ah, come on. Come on. You can't shout at me too much for that. Beautiful. I'm happy with that. Right, let's just quickly show you the bathroom. Because we've done some work in here, which I did film, but I took it out. It was really boring. Ta-da! Got the shower tray in. So all that's in now. You've seen this in your episode, but I'll just put all the fixtures and fittings in. Got the radiator in the wall, which meant that when Mitch came back, he knew exactly where to put the pipes there. Got all the fixtures and fittings in. Everything's all masticed up, sealed up. Beautiful. Now we knew going into this that these panels were never going to reach the ceiling. And you can't join them, they're not meant to be joined at the top, they're only joined tongue and groove on the sides. So if you ever do need to go higher, there's a trim that you can use to cover that joint, and I just thought that was going to look really ugly, so I didn't take the chance. So I just butt jointed them with a spacer as if you were tiling, and then just masticed it as if I was grouting it. And I think that's really quite nice. And I wasn't too sure of the corner trims either, so just mastic them. That's beautiful. I think that's worked out really lovely. Just got an architrave around that, put the window above it, let some light into the landing. And there we go. The one thing I will say about this is for installing these, because these really foxed me. I also cut that short, so I might take them off and change that. Depends if I can live with it or not. These hinges don't bend when you take them out the box. You get them out the box and you try and bend them like a hinge, like as you think a hinge would bend, and they don't. And trust me, I was getting a little bit tentative at first because they knew I didn't want to, and then I'll give it the beans, and I just couldn't, and Matt couldn't, and no one else who turned up could. It was like a strongman contest and we all lost. You need to fit them first. So once there's holes in this piece of glass that those two go through, and then this piece of glass, there's a groove cut out, little section cut out, and that sort of hooks round it. And then once you start tightening these little screws up, it pulls that little white nylon thing away. It's on a spring, that is, and it pulls it away from that bit there, which means then it frees it all up. You can move it to your leisure, like so. But without it, that spring in there is very impressive. So once that's all slackened off, and as I say, as you get it out of the box, that is a rigid piece of metal. So don't be put off if you're going to give this a go yourself and you get it out, you think it's broke like I did. But there we go. So yeah, have a little top tip for you. Oh, that's all right. Very nice. Oh, Mr. Tap's waving again. What was her dad's name now from Sound of Music? Von Trapp, when it's is it Captain George? Is it? Captain George Von Tap, that's him now. Alright, Captain, so yeah. Right, I think we'll end it there. Bit talky, I know, there's not really a lot to show. Can't really film it, all nooks and crannies and things like that. It's just jobs that you'll never ever see, but it's all part of the job, it's all part of the process of getting to that finishing line, so I thought I'd show it. So I hope you don't mind, and I hope you enjoyed it. Now for the moment that some of you have been waiting for. In the previous video to this, which wasn't the one in this series, it was the one about the big job they're doing around the corner. I had about rants about flight tipping, that sort of thing. And I had a bit of a competition with you regarding how much I would get for the tat that I had in the van. Now I thought that a couple of you would just put, have a couple of guesses. It was at the end of the video, so I weren't too sure how many people actually watched the end of the videos anyway. Didn't expect about 300 of you to have a go, which was brilliant. So it was only a bit of fun, but it was ace trawling through, seeing who won and everything. And the results are in. Now, the price I got for all that tat, the copper, the lead, all the other stuff, if you want to watch it, it's in the other video, was £326.16. That's how much went into my account with all that. Now, some of you were, one of you was £1.37 out, some of you hundreds of pounds out either way. One of you said 90 quid, another one said about 1,000 and something, so it was varied, but majority were around that ballpark, the ballpark of £326.16. As I say, one of you was £1.57 out, another one was 30 pence out, but one of you was just 14p out with a guess of £326.30, and that is Sean Edwards 34. That's your little handle thing, your little name on YouTube. So I've pinned your comment, Sean, on the other video, and I've sent you a message, which I'm going to do around about now, as this goes out. So get in touch. Our email's in the in our bio, and we'll have a little conversation. We'll send you something else. We're going to the Tool Fair in Coventry this coming Thursday, which is the 16th, is it? I'm not too sure of the date. If I'm wrong, I'll put it on the screen now. If any of you are there, we're there. It's only as customers, like, we're going to spend some money on some tools and everything, so I might pick up something there, Sean, if you want. A little bit of fun, you know what I mean, but I said I'll send you something, so I will. Right then, next episode will be solely dedicated to the stairs. They've been ordered, they're arriving Monday, we're ripping them out and we're going to replace them all. We're going to use a company called Stairbox. So we're going to go through everything you need to know about that company, how to order from them. It's really, really easy. They are brilliant. And we'll show you what turns up when you order it, how it all gets installed, the lot. So that's something to look forward to, if you like that sort of thing. Right, as I say, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. And until then, take care.